Hey guys, Golden Hitmonlee here. First ever Escape from Tarkov video. One take, so hopefully I don't stumble over my words too much. But let's get started. So this video is going to be about weapon mastery, what it does, why we're using shotguns, and which shotguns we're going to be using. So shout out to OnePeg for making a video on this whole subject. It showed that they changed it. In previous wipes, this would only give you like different reload animations, or different animations in general for the particular weapon. But now, as of this last wipe, it affects visual recoil, which is like the camera blur and the camera shake when you fire around. And having that skill maxed out on shotguns, or like a couple of specific shotguns, could be really strong. Because let's say it's like a 5% decrease on all that stuff or whatever. That goes a much farther way when you have something that boasts such a ridiculous recoil as the shotguns. So for that reason, I think it would be desirable to have it on this weapon, because with this whole question, it makes you think like, all right, new wipes coming up. I want a weapon that I'm going to be using throughout the entire wipe, because this takes a long time to, accumulate. So I want a weapon that I'm going to use throughout the entire wipe, because most of these weapons you're not going to be using the entire wipe. Because once you get max traders, you start moving in the mutant, the M4. There's just better options for stuff. And in the past, it's always been the AK-74N, not specific for this weapon mastery system, just because this has always kind of been the most accessible weapon for newer players when they want like a decent assault rifle. And it's still that way. This is a really good gun with a Golnik in it specifically. But I find myself just not using the AKs that much late wipes, since there are much better options. But I will always be using a shotgun. At one point or another, shotguns have always kind of been just a fun weapon to play with, Shotguns are much better in this game than any other shooter that's out there, and they're always viable. You are always dangerous with a shotgun. So I really think this is the one that that I'm going to be using far into the next wipe also. And the mastery system for shotguns, you'll level these up a lot quicker, because you accumulate the points by hitting your target, and with buckshot you have like 8 or 9 shots per round, so this just goes up a lot quicker. So I think it's a really good gun to dump some time and energy into. An express shot early wipe, or express buck, is just really strong. As far as buckshot goes, they're pretty limited. You really only want to be using one of these two. I prefer express. It's got 35 damage per pellet, an extra pellet, so it's shooting 9 instead of 8, and it has got a tighter spread with the accuracy boost, and there's no recoil penalty for using express also. And the only other comparable buckshot shell is Magnum, which has an insanely high, it's like the recoil of your gun just attached to this shell, which is insane. And it's only 15 extra damage per projectile per shot. So I really don't think it's all that what it's cracked up to be. No penetration whatsoever. I think Express has 2 pen and Magnum may have 3, but that just goes for all the buckshots. They don't go through armor in any sense, even if you're in a P.A.C.A. So you're going to be looking for face shots, and that's really strong with the extra pellet that you get from Express, the tighter spread, and the fact that it's going to be early wipe and no one's running face shields. So this is going to be a really reliable round, and it has been for me personally in the past and to this day. So definitely paired with Express. And when we're talking about shotguns that you want leveled up, you really have 2 that you're looking at. You have this one, and then you have the Sega. And the Sega is probably hands down the best shotgun in the game, but there's a lot of things you have to do to run the Sega. For one, you have the disadvantage with using this. You're not using magazines, so you have to like manually load each shell in. But that same advantage that the Sega has is also a disadvantage when you see that the mags and everything just take up your entire inventory. And this gun is heavy too. With the mag, it's like 5 pounds, and the shells that you're running, like this fully loaded, is fucking heavy. The shells, your backup ammo is heavy. So just heavy, cumbersome, low ergo, and I don't know. This thing is so versatile. It's so clean. You can take it anywhere. It's got better horizontal recoil than the Sega by like a lot. So that's something to talk about too. But let's get in here and fire this real quick. So this is with the express buck loaded in it. Super easy to keep on target. The ergo is super clean. And this gun is probably the cheapest budget weapon when we're talking about like price per kill potential, I suppose, in the game. I mean, the only thing that comes close to like budget is probably like a 760 VPO or maybe like an MP7 once you get the FMJSX unlocked. But this thing is just downright cheap. So I got a brand new one right here. This is 35K from Jaeger. At level 1. So we got a preset, open, shotguns, 153. This is the loadout that we've been looking at the entire time. Everything's here except the thermal camera. The thermal camera is a bit of a Gucci accessory. It's not very useful and it costs like 40K, so I never really slap the thermal camera on in there. So when you're looking down the gun, you have to have a sight that is a bit raised because you have to look over this thermal camera thing. So keep that in mind. You can't just run like a Burris or anything like that. You got to make sure you have a sight that is raised up a little bit. But yeah, so we go to assemble, buy parts. So everything included, this is so add 35K for the gun to this. So you're looking at like right at 110. If you don't have this unlocked with mechanic level 4, that might set you back under 40. But even if you had to, super cheap weapon. And the ammo is just dirt cheap. You don't have to have any inventory space for it. So yeah, really good. So let's talk about some of these rounds a little bit. These are the only rounds that I would consider using for any shotgun. You have the Express and the Magnum, which you've already kind of talked about. AP-20s are the absolute GOAT. You should run these once you unlock them. And then you have an honorable mention. If you can't get the AP-20, the Custom Light Slug is a seriously, seriously good second choice for sure if you need to run a slug. Really, really good. Really, really good. And I would stay away from this bad boy right here. Flechettes kind of suck, to be honest. I know I'm going to piss some people off saying that, but yeah, they have a problem. They got buffed a wipe or two ago, and what they were doing is, let's say you shoot center mass, the flechettes would like bloom around your target. It would be super ineffective, and they still kind of do that, and that's the problem with this thing. But just the spread is just terrible on them, and it has 31 pen, which sounds really good on paper. But 25 flesh is just really, really low. So honestly, I really wanted to like this shell, and I just don't. I don't think it's very consistent. So yeah, those are all the rounds. I think that is pretty much everything I wanted to talk about in this video. Shout out to One Peg, Gigabeef, Jesse Kazam, J-Dog the Wise. Oh, I'm missing a lot. I digest a fair bit of educational Tarkov content, and that inspired me to make this video because there's not a whole lot of people talking about the weapon mastery system or been planning for next wipe for it. But this is what I'm definitely gonna be doing next wipe. I'm gonna be running this bitch with Express like exclusively until like I'm level 20. So if you guys learned anything or want to have a question, you want to leave a comment, feel free, drop them down below. I read all the comments and respond to all questions. So just because it's fun. So yeah, good luck next wipe gamers. I'll catch you later. Bye bye.